This is Monte Pittman, and you are watching Army of One TV. Hey everybody, this is Monte Pittman, and I'm here at the Sony Red office in New York City. I'm doing press all day. I got a new album that just came out called Inverted Grasp of Balance, and it's out on Metal Blade Records. You got to check it out. Richard Christie played drums, Billy Sheehan played bass, Jay Rustin produced it, Paul Ogus did the mastering, and I couldn't be happier with it, and you got to check it out. I grew up in a small town in East Texas called Longview, Texas, and I've always wanted to play music. I've always wanted to play guitar since I was a little kid. Since I was one of those 3-year-old kids standing on my sister's bed playing her Kiss records pretending I was Ace Frehley. And so after I moved to LA, I started playing in the band Prong almost immediately within the first month. And Prong was one of my favorite bands, ever, still is. Tommy Victor is one of my favorite guitar players. And I was working at the Guitar Center in Hollywood. I wanted to have a job. You got to have a job, and I wanted to work in music. And so I figured I would meet the most musicians there. So people used to always come in looking for guitar teachers, and we didn't have anyone. And that's what I used to do in Texas, is I taught as an apprentice to my teacher. And I told everyone, I said, look, I'm going to quit, and I'm going to start teaching, and here's my card, and everybody you sell a guitar to, give them my card and write your name on there so I know that they came from you, and I'll give you $25 for each student. And so one day I went in and I gave a guy like $100 or something like that, and then my phone just did not stop ringing. My third student was Guy Ritchie, and he was dating Madonna, and that's right before her music album came out. And that's how me and Madonna became friends. And then pretty soon after that, I started teaching her how to play guitar. I was giving her guitar lessons. And it was around a month after that, she invited me to come play on David Letterman with her. So we did that. It was 16 years ago. And soon after that, I would go wherever she would go. Like if she went to London, I would go to London and just teach her, and we would just play guitar. And then she was going to go on her first tour in 7 years, because for all I knew, she was retired or whatever. And so that was the Drowned World Tour. And then she asked me to, because she said she wanted me to still come out and teach her, and she's going to need a guitar player. So why don't you play guitar? So I was like, yeah, sure. And so that's how I became, I started playing with her live. And, looking back 16 years later, she still calls me back, luckily. We have an amazing chemistry. I love working with her. She's one of the coolest people that I've ever met in my life. And in the 2000s, I would go back and forth between playing with Madonna and Prong. And I met this singer, this amazing singer who had never played in a band before, named Adam Lambert. And we really liked playing with each other, and we had amazing chemistry too. And we started a band. And Tommy Victor from Prong was the bass player, and then Steve Sedelnik, who was Madonna's drummer, was the drummer. Well, then me and Steve leave for a Madonna tour, and then Tommy left. He also plays for Danzig and for Ministry. And Adam went and tried out for American Idol, and then the rest is history with that.
I got the wrong end of a double-edged sword, blinding reflection shining brightly. The floor collapsed and I fell underneath. The world came crashing down upon me.
So here I am back at the drawing board again, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to start playing on my own. And so I started just playing with an acoustic wherever I could. At first I would do open mic nights, and I played before like this hardcore band. And I was like, oh my God, someone's gonna throw something at me, someone's gonna hate me. But they all loved it, they were all watching, and I was like, why is everybody watching me? This is so weird. And afterwards, this guy goes, dude, that was crazy what you were up there doing. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, for you to open for a band like this and just play your acoustic guitar and be singing, he was like, that's got to take a lot of balls. And I didn't think of it that way. But that's what got me to start playing as Monte Pittman. To make up for the time, I can't just play acoustic guitar and sing for 45 minutes. That's boring even to me. And I got a drummer and a bass player, and I started playing with them. And then as things keep progressing, we would just jam, and I'd pick up the electric and I would start like doing some solos and leads. And that's when people said, that's what I want to hear. That's what you're really good at. That's what you need to be doing. And I was like, okay, I'll put all this together. So for my second album, it's called Pain, Love, and Destiny. I made it to where I could play the songs acoustically, or I could play them with a band. And so it's kind of a hybrid of things. And for my third album, it's called The Power of Three, I met Flemming Rasmussen on a day off when I was on tour in Copenhagen. And I've always been a huge fan of him because he made some of the greatest albums ever. Metallica's Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All. And we became friends, and it happened slowly. We would, we'd get in touch when I'd come into town. And then one day we said, I'm gonna have a day off, let's go in the studio and let's do something. And so we made an EP that was all done, in one day. And I called it MP3 because it was gonna be the third album, like Monte Pittman 3. And it was The Power of Three Part 1. And I had this idea where The Power of Three was going to be 3 different EPs with different different styles of music. One would be acoustic, one would be blues, and one would be heavy. But then when I gave Flemming all of my demos, he's like, "Look, I want to record this heavy stuff." He's like, "I know you're all over the place and you have all these things you can do, and that's great. But you're really good at this heavy stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I feel like I've already done that." He goes, "Well, I've done it too." And it worked out for me. I was like, "Okay, sure, you win." So we recorded that, and after I recorded it, it just as fate would have it, I had dinner with Brian Slagle, and I played him what I had recorded, and I said, what should I do with it? Surely somebody out there's some new label or something, any bands that you pass on, like. Surely there's somebody who would want to put this out. I don't have to put this out on my own. And then he pretty much immediately signed me to Metal Blade. And so I wasn't expecting that. And then it was one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. And then now I'm here promoting my new album, Inverted Grasp of Balance. This is the first album where I've had the record label and the management and everybody on board from day one, having guidance and all that. I need somebody to tell me, like, here's what you're really good at. This is what you need to do. And maybe we'll work on this a little bit more here. And so I'm excited for everybody to hear it. The response so far has been amazing. Everybody has a different track that they love, and they say, "Oh, you got to do this for a single, and this has got to be your next video." So, being an artist and being a musician and a songwriter and singer, performer, that's one of the greatest things you could ask for. For the new album, for Inverted Grasp of Balance, I wanted to make the heaviest, craziest album that I could possibly make, and I wasn't even sure what people would think about it. When the pre-orders came out, no one really said anything. My phone didn't, there's maybe a couple of people who said, "Hey, heard the new album, cool." I was like, okay. And I thought, oh no, it's too much of a departure from what I've done. Because I wanted to make a really intense album that would grab everybody's attention and not just make another album. And this is what I love doing, and this is where I am now as a musician, as a performer, as a songwriter, as a singer. And then when the second single came out, it's called Be Very Afraid, it's like it was my birthday or something. All of a sudden my phone just so many, I still haven't been able to get back to everybody's messages on that. And so now the album is out, and it was, it's I say it's like having a baby when you release an album. And there was, the day it came out, which is Friday, September 23rd, my Facebook feed and my Twitter feed was just people sharing the album, and some of the reviews and things that people have said. I mean, I say like I can't even read it or talk about it without crying almost, because just the love and support. You know, Madonna posted it. She posted on her social media saying like, you know, go buy Monte's album. Didn't say like, hey, check it out. She's like, go buy it. I play for the LA Kiss football team, not the team, but I play in the house band, and you know, and they posted it. You know, I've had, you know, so many friends. There's only a couple of people that I know that haven't posted it, so it's I'm just blown away by the response from it all. So I'm not too hard to find. I mean, it is almost 2017. You can find me at Twitter or Instagram at Monte Pittman. Also, MontePittman.com is my website. You can order the new album with a shirt directly from metalblade.com/Monte Pittman. And I still teach guitar lessons. I started my own online teaching school earlier this year, and anyone can email me directly at lessons@MontePittman.com and get signed up for guitar lessons. I've got students in China, Mexico City, Finland, New Jersey, and it's great. No matter where I am in the world or where they are in the world, we can still do our lesson. And they're getting amazing results. I have several plans, because sometimes people can come in and they'll say, hey, I want to learn this song, I want to learn this song, but they don't know their scales or their chords yet, or they haven't even really played anything, and then they're spending all their time trying to learn this one song, which you can easily get frustrated and you lose that window of opportunity. But when you do a little bit of everything and learn all your basics first, then if I give you a song and I say, oh, it's just this chord, or this chord, and then they learn a lot faster. So hope to see you somewhere out there, and thanks for listening.